Hey everyone, picking a name for your new business, it's honestly one of the most exciting parts of starting up. It's that exact moment your idea finally starts feeling real. But to operate seamlessly and professionally in Washington state, you've got to navigate a very specific bureaucratic maze to legally claim that name. So today, we're breaking down exactly how to do that. In this explainer, we're going to clear up all the confusion and give you a straightforward, actionable roadmap. So, here is the primary conflict a lot of new entrepreneurs run into. You might be totally ready to launch your brand. You've got the perfect logo, your website is live and looking great. But what is your business actually called in the eyes of the law? There's often this massive gap between your shiny new brand name and the highly technical bureaucratic terminology you need to successfully navigate to legally operate it. And if you get it wrong, you can literally hit a brick wall when you're trying to open a business bank account or sign a vendor contract.
Okay, let's dive right into this. Here's our roadmap for today's explainer. First, what is a Washington DBA? Second, the step-by-step registration process. Third, legal realities and limits. Fourth, common mistakes to avoid. And finally, a rapid-fire FAQ.
All right, Section 1. What exactly is a Washington DBA?
If you jump onto the state website searching for a DBA or doing business as, or maybe even a fictitious business name, you are going to get frustrated really quickly. Why? Because under state law, specifically RCW 19.80.010, Washington state just doesn't use those terms. Instead, it is strictly referred to as a trade name. That's your foundational terminology right there. Any individual or business entity, whether you're a sole proprietor, an LLC, or a full-blown corporation, if you are operating under a name that's different from your official legal name, you must register a trade name.
Let's bring this down to earth with a relatable hypothetical. Say your legal name is Jane Smith, and you decide to start a cleaning business. Now, if you just call it Jane Smith, you don't need to file anything extra. But if you want to operate as Cascade Cleaning Co., you have to register that trade name. The reason for this is public transparency. The state and the public need a clear record of who exactly is behind Cascade Cleaning Co. Plus, from a practical standpoint, you absolutely need this registration to open up a commercial bank account under your business name.
Moving right along, Section 2, the step-by-step registration process.
The really good news here is that this is a fairly simple three-step journey, and it is entirely managed by the Washington Department of Revenue, or the DOR. Step 1 is searching for name availability. Step 2 is filing your business license application. And Step 3 is paying the fees. Let's actually look a bit closer at Step 1, because honestly, that's where most people trip up.
You can't just pick a cool name and file it. You actually need to conduct a three-part search. First, check the Washington DOR business lookup to see if that specific trade name is already in use. Second, you have to check the Secretary of State database for registered LLCs and corporations because a name might not be registered as a trade name, but it might already be an LLC. Third, and this is absolutely critical, check the USPTO database for federal trademarks. Listen, Washington will not automatically block you from registering a duplicate trade name. The responsibility is entirely on you to clear these three databases to avoid any legal conflicts down the road.
All right, once your name is cleared, you file. And here is a massive point of confusion. People constantly try to file their trade name with the Secretary of State. Don't do that. In Washington, trade names are filed as part of the business license application through the Department of Revenue, the DOR. Using their online wizard takes about 10 days. If you prefer to mail it in, expect that to take up to 3 weeks.
Now, what's really awesome about this slide is the cost. The state fee to register each individual trade name is literally just $5. That is a huge relief for anyone trying to get a business off the ground on a tight budget.
But, before we celebrate too much, we do need a quick financial reality check. While the trade name itself is indeed just $5, it's attached to the business license application, and that carries mandatory, non-refundable processing fees. If you're a brand new business applying for your license, there's a $50 processing fee. If you're an existing business and you're just adding a new trade name to your current license, it's a $10 processing fee. So definitely factor the whole shebang into your budget.
Okay, Section 3, legal realities and limits.
And this brilliantly illustrates what a trade name actually does, and more importantly, what it doesn't do. A trade name absolutely does not create a new legal entity. It also doesn't protect your personal assets from business debts. That is what an LLC or corporation is designed for. And crucially, a trade name does not prevent others from using your name. It basically just discloses to the public that you own that alias. If you want exclusive rights to the name, you're going to need a federal trademark. Understanding these limits is super vital for your long-term business strategy.
Next up, Section 4, Common Mistakes to Avoid.
So the goal here is to sidestep these specific bureaucratic traps so your application sails through. First, like we mentioned, do not file this with the Secretary of State. Trade names go strictly to the Department of Revenue. Second, whatever you do, don't skip that three-part name search we talked about. Assuming a name is available just because the website domain is open is a great way to stumble into a trademark lawsuit. Finally, never, ever add an entity suffix like LLC or Inc. to your trade name if your business isn't actually legally structured that way. The state will straight up reject your application for being misleading.
And finally, Section 5, Frequently Asked Questions.
Let's do some rapid-fire logistics here. Does a Washington trade name expire? Nope, it remains active indefinitely. You'll renew your overall business license every year, but the trade name itself doesn't expire unless you actively cancel it. Okay, do you need a new employer identification number or EIN for a new trade name? No, because remember, a trade name is just an alias. It doesn't change your tax status at all. And lastly, can you have multiple trade names? Yes, you absolutely can. An LLC or a sole proprietorship can register an unlimited number of trade names for $5 a pop. It's a great way to run multiple brands under one legal roof, and it's incredibly low maintenance once it's officially on the books.
So you've got the exact blueprint now. You understand the specific state terminology, the three-step process, the real costs, the legal limitations, and the pitfalls you need to avoid. You know exactly how to legally claim your name in Washington state. But you know, the paperwork is really just day one. The real question I want to leave you with is, now that you have your name, how are you going to build your brand's legacy? Your trade name is simply the vessel. The actual value you provide to your customers is what's going to make it memorable. So get out there, file your application, and start building.
Just before we officially wrap up this explainer, please keep in mind that the content we've discussed is provided for informational purposes only. It should not be taken as legal or tax advice. You should always consult with a qualified professional, like an attorney or a CPA, regarding your specific business situation. Thanks so much for joining me today, and best of luck with your new business venture.